My friend Carl does not receive ashes. He always comes to church on Ash Wednesday, but his forehead comes through unscathed, unsmudged. Why? Too much literary tension, he says. Literary tension exists when an author balances two opposing metaphors, when she leaves contradictions unresolved, when there seems to be a difference between what she writes and what she means. Literary tension makes us uncomfortable because it reminds us that the worlds to which we run away are actually no less confusing than the world in which we live. Carl is troubled by the literary tension in today's liturgy. We hear Jesus say, "Beware of practicing your piety before others in order to be seen by them." Then, not 10 minutes later, we do just that. The contradiction here is evident, but it has never troubled me as much as it troubles Carl. As I see it, my life and my faith are characterized by literary tension, by the contradiction of word and deed. Ash Wednesday meets me where I am, not where I tell people I am, but where I really am. Literary tension exists whenever I walk down the street in my very comfortable neighborhood and only a few blocks later find myself immersed in a level of poverty that is unbecoming of a developed nation. Jesus tells us to give alms generously to the poor, to clothe them, to feed them, to house them. But the problem seems so big, and I seem far too small to make any meaningful difference at all. As my compassionate right hand reaches for my wallet, my more sensible left hand brushes it away. Literary tension exists whenever I stand before you to proclaim our faith publicly, knowing that I often fail to say my own prayers privately. Jesus tells us to shut the door and pray to our Father who sees in secret. But that can be so hard to do in the midst of a busy life, with our devices glowing and buzzing all around us. There is an equality and an honesty to Ash Wednesday for which I am grateful. On this one day each year, we find the humility to set aside our posturing and admit that we are all pilgrims on the same journey, that we are all wandering and wondering and seeking, and that not one of us has resolved all of life's literary tension. As St. Paul puts it, now we see in a mirror dimly, but in the end we will see face to face. Now we know only in part. Then we will know fully, even as we are fully known. We do not receive ashes so that we can be seen by others. We receive ashes so that we can be united with others. For people like Carl, this literary tension is too much to bear. For me, it is blessed permission to reflect on my shortcomings, to think about my mortality and to identify the places in my life where God's resurrection power will one day be most evident. Because, after all, we are bound together by the greatest literary tension of them all, God's insistence that new life is born only from the womb of death.